Sorry, we'll call the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. November 19th, 2024. We do have a quorum. We do have 2 council people out, and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, next up, reports from council. Ed Waters.
I talked to Doug Whitmarsh today and about waterfront, and a lot of those nameplates, numbers on the bulkheads were washed away with Hurricane Beryl, and they are currently walking that to see which ones of them need to be replaced, and they will give us a list of those and the pricing for those replacement.
Okay, thank you, Ed. Rick Fisher.
Nothing to report, and I know she's not here, though, but we just want to wish her, if she watches the video, watch her bestie, Peyton Fenwick, happy birthday today.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Rick. Jeff Terrell was not here. Alex Scanlon.
Just want to extend a thank you to everyone that helped me with the turkeys. Thomas, Steve, Mike Meyer. It was I couldn't have done it without you guys. It was a rainy night, but thanks.
All right, thank you, Alex. Amanda's not here. Couple things. Civic Club decorated this. It looks awesome. We are in the Christmas spirit. It isn't Thanksgiving yet, but we are here. I noticed today there was a lot of people out there underneath the pavilion, bluffing garland, and Sam was there for sure. Several people were there, so thanks to them for helping out and doing that. That's going pretty well. You're going to see Jorge and Odie on the lift. We got the lift. They worked pretty hard on that today. Please be patient with them as they're working across that bridge and in the road, along with a lot of the volunteers that are working on that bridge. Some people seem to be in a really big hurry. Those are pedestrians out there, so be cautious when you go over that bridge and pay attention, please. ESB meeting last night, we talked about this. It's going to be on our agenda, this quick to enter ordinance. KEMA has passed theirs, and it is the exact same ordinance. Talking to the fire chief over there, a lot of people are glad we're going to this. They're pretty excited about it. It's easy. It will also be fit into the PD to where their radios will let you in those gates also. I don't know if the PD was aware of that yet or not, but it will move over to them too. So that'll help get to people a little quicker. I think I brought up this baby box thing before at the fire department. Well, that passed through the water board. They had to give their approval for that. So the fire department over there will have a baby box for people to surrender babies to instead of putting them in a dumpster, things of that nature. So they're pretty excited about that, and they're moving on with getting that finished. Boat ramp update. We did pass all of our studies that we've done. We're not going to be required to do any more studies. I want to say it passed through the first portion of that process, and now we have one more entity reviewing everything. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cheryl. And then we're getting pretty close. It could be a couple more months before we hear back from them, but we are getting pretty close. And they, just so you know, that one of my complaints was the cost of everything being 6 years later. They factored that in, so they will be taking care of their portion of whatever else it costs. So we applied for a certain amount at the time. They're going to bump that up knowing that everything has gone up. So that's not going to keep us from doing it. We are still doing it, I promise. But we seem like we're getting closer an inch at a time. So at least we're moving in a positive direction. I think that's all I got. I won't steal your thunder on the parking lot, Mike. Moving on, we will go to staff reports. Chief David Donaldson's not here. Does that mean you're going to speak for him, Mr. Cram? No? Okay. And then we'll move on to City Administrator Mike Cram.
Thank you, Mayor. Good Lord. Scared myself there. East Side Parking Lot Project, they did get a pour in today. We were kind of worried about it yesterday with all the rain, but they started that around 3 o'clock this morning, and it was finished. Cheryl, I guess we went out there about 9, a little earlier. They were pretty much done with it. They had already floated most of it, and we're just putting some finishing touches with some trowels on it. They have good weather forecast for the next several days, so the contractor expects to keep moving pretty quickly. Teresa has uploaded a good number of photographs for the progression of the project. If you go to the website and click on the community tab and then go under the parking lot project, she's put all those in there, so you can kind of see how it's coming along as we go. Thank you for doing that, Teresa. The RFP we put out for IT services closes next week. Thanks again to Cheryl for doing all the heavy lifting on that once again. We hope to have a contract for council to consider in January on that IT issue. We have chosen not to renew our contract with GovOS. They did not come through with what we considered would have been a viable number of unregistered STRs for us to pay that amount every year. So we notified them a week or two ago that we will not be renewing with them. Christy's completed a draft of new personnel policies. Thanks, Christy, because that's taken a lot of work. She's been working on that for months. We will be working together, she and I, to finish that up for something to bring for council consideration in January or February. Angie's begun the daunting task of scanning permit files onto our server. It took a while to make sure we had enough room for storage of all those files, but her goal is to finish that up before hurricane season arrives, so we have digital copies of everything that we are keeping currently in hard copy. I will be asking the mayor to consider adding an agenda item for the next meeting to adjust the date of the first meeting in January. We have several key staff members off on vacation for the holiday previous to the week previous to that, which would basically leave me responsible for preparing the agenda, and I think our attorney would probably stroke out if that were the case. So he probably wants to avoid that possibility. And then we want to remind everybody to have a safe and happy Thanksgiving holiday. Please check the website for what the holiday hours will be for any closures of City Hall and city service facilities. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mike. There was one thing I forgot to mention that I had jotted down here. Many of you probably don't know this. I didn't even know this was going on. Back when Officer Flores was shot in the line of duty, John Schaefer at Outriggers decided to put a tip jar out or donation jar out with his picture on it on the counter. They didn't really forget about it. They didn't connect with us, and we just did that just a few days ago. They presented him with, I think, around $500 that they collected for him. So that was very nice of them to do that. I don't know that any of the other businesses did. I'm not trying to say they should have. I'm just saying they made the gesture to do it, and I wanted to make sure that if you guys see John Schaefer, thank him for that, because that was his idea to do that. And Nathan was very moved by that. So that was a good gesture. Moving on, we will go to committee reports, roads and drainage.
We didn't have a meeting in October. Sorry, we did, but we're not going to have one in November. There isn't really any much going on other than waiting for reports to come back to us, and mainly that is the bridge study, because that's going to affect what we do with a bridge, and it could also affect what we do with a pedestrian bridge, because we may, and emphasis on may, be able to hang it on to the existing bridge instead of having a total separate structure, which is going to make a big difference. But just to remind everybody, first that one needs to come together, and then it is the making it concrete all the way up to South Shore, Birch, and then the next step is to do all the way up to Forest, also in concrete. That's where we are.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Parks?
Okay. I have a few things. We did meet 2 weeks ago. We're working on bringing some fall color to some of the beds around the parks that you've probably noticed happening. So we're still continuing that project. Also working on bringing back the Yard of the Month. We've talked about that, and the first thing we'd like to do with that is bring back the holiday, like Christmas lights competition in the neighborhood. And so we are working on getting a flyer out that the city will help us advertise, but it would be judging around the second week in December, and then similar to the past, they'd have a yard sign, the winners to display in their yards for, through the first of the year. So be looking for that information. The flyer will have more, on the actual date of the judging. So we have to get that together. And then we also would like to try to bring a little holiday cheer into the parks. We have so much beautiful holiday things up on the front end, so we thought it might be fun to kind of sprinkle some throughout the parks. We're going to repurpose the big giant bows that used to be on the light post, since there's going to be new wreaths this year. So we are working on touching them up and then sprinkling them around 4 of the parks, just to kind of help bring out a little holiday cheer over there. And then the last thing is we are moving our meetings to the second Wednesday of every month. Now that we have a new member on our committee, we reworked our calendar, and it's going to be a 10 o'clock meeting if anybody would like to join. And we're not going to meet in December. That's it.
Thank you, Mary. Hey, Mary, do you have any idea where those signs are, like Yard of the Month signs? Do we still have those around? I can check with Jorge and them. And then for Christmas light competition, we had a 1, 2, and 3 sign for that also.
There's up in the Civic Club office, there's the number 1 and the number 3 that the students have returned years and years and years ago. So
Somebody was proud of that number 2, huh?
and they're quite ornate and giant, and it was a little daunting to try to recreate that. It might have come maybe from, I don't know, the 90s.
Yeah, they're pretty old. That's why I'm saying I don't know if they're even still around.
So we do have those, but we're looking at recreating some new ones.
Yeah. Okay, I was just curious if we had those. Second week of December is coming up pretty quick. You might have to use those this year or something, Okay, well, thank you for that report. Waterfront compliance?
Nothing further.
All right. Planning and zoning? I think no one's here from planning and zoning. Zoning Board of Adjustments? No one here for that either. All right, we'll go to Civic Club report.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Once again, Thanksgiving was a great success, and I want to thank all of the volunteers that came out and made that event possible. We are going to be looking for new volunteers for that event to head up both the cooking team and the kitchen team for next year. I want to thank Mary and Louise Cooney for putting up the decorations here in the clubhouse. It looks fantastic. Getting everything started for the outdoor decorations that are going as well, with Diana Chronister and all the residents helping. We want to give a big thanks to the EDC for also contributing to that this year, for us to be able to buy new commercial grade outdoor decorations. Our holiday events this season, the Christmas tree lighting with the city will be December 1st. Posts and emails have gone out to our members. We will once again have the golf cart parade with trophies this year instead of gift cards. Everyone wants that trophy. So we'll definitely have the trophies this year. We'll also have cookies and cocoa with Santa. The Progressive Adult Christmas Party is scheduled for December 13th, starting at 6:30. We have 4 host houses, so if everyone could just be patient with us. I know there's a little bit of a traffic jam at times, depending on the location of these houses, because there's a lot of people that participate in this event. It's a popular event here on the island. We will not be having a meeting in December due to the Christmas tree lighting being so close to the first week of December and other events during the holidays that people are obligated to. Our budget and the 2025 calendar will be presented at the January 2025 meeting. And that's it.
All right, thank you, Georgette. Next up is Economic Development Corporation.
Yeah, we didn't have a November meeting. We were going to have a December meeting, but since it's scheduled for the 10th at 6:30, we may change that, either to have it earlier that day or another day close by because of the Christmas party. Other than that, we don't really have much of anything going on at this time.
Okay. Thank you, Thomas. Moving on, public comments. At this time, any person with city-related business may speak to the City Council. If the topic of discussion is related to an item on the agenda, the comments may be made now or at the time the agenda item is discussed. If the topic of discussion is not related to an item on the agenda, the City Council cannot deliberate or take any action at this time. Comments from the public should be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. There will be no yielding of time. Would anybody like to address the council? Let me get that 3 minutes.
This is just a little announcement. Mary Cooney, 930 Elm Road. This is for the library committee. We are going to host a children's read aloud in the clubhouse here. We do it every year for the holidays. And it's going to be on Sunday, December 15th at 3 p.m. And it's great to bring out your little children. They get a story, hot cocoa, cookies, craft, all the fun things, and a bunch of books for the holidays that they can take home. So that's all.
Thank you, Mary. Anyone else? All right, we'll close the public comments and move to number 9, consent agenda. Do we have anything we want pulled for there, or we have any motions on accepting the consent agenda?
Motion to accept the consent agenda.
Okay, have a motion by Alex.
I'll second that.
Got a second by Ed. Is there any discussion about the items on the consent agenda? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. Moving on to item 10, old business. Discussion of possible action may be taken on the following items. Item A, ordinance number 2024-15, an ordinance for the City of Clear Lake Shores, Texas, amending Chapter 6 of the Clear Lake Shores Municipal Code by adding Article 2 entitled Electric Gates and Emergency Access, and Section 30-31 entitled Definitions, Section 30-32 entitled Operations, Section 30-33 entitled Inspections, and Section 30-34 entitled Retrofitting Existing Electrical Operating Gates, providing for severability, providing for repealing savings clause, providing for an effective date, and providing for an open meeting act clause. City Administrator Mike Cram.
So this is the same ordinance that council wanted me to go out and speak with the impacted entities about. I did that. All of them were on board. In fact, I got contacted by somebody towards the end of the day today who actually installs and programs those things, asking me what the frequency was, because he's been contacted by one of those entities to install it already. I said, you're putting the horse or the cart in front of the horse. We don't actually have that yet, but I put him in contact with the author of the ordinance from KEMA, and so he can reach out to them. But all of them were supportive of it, as I mentioned to council last week, and so I think we're ready to move forward.
All right, awesome. We have any motions on that ordinance?
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and accept ordinance 2024-15.
A motion by Rick.
I'll second.
We have a second by Alex. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Appreciate you going out and checking that, Mike. Thank you.
Sorry. You got? Okay. All in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. Moving on to new business, item 11. Discussion of possible action may be taken on the following items. Item A, review and approve renewal of employee health insurance through Blue Cross Blue Shield. Mike Cram.
So our illustrious financial professional over here to my left incorrectly estimated that we would see a 10% increase. It's actually 10.49. She was way off the mark. There were some marginal increases in the costs for coverage, and an increase of deductible by $50. Primary care visits increased by $10 and specialist visits increased by $10. Overall, like I said, a 10.49% increase. Cheryl and Christy and I sat down and went through all of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans, and we think this is still by far the best bang for the buck. Without costing the city an exorbitant amount and without putting an unruly onus on the backs of the employees as well. Kind of the middle of the road, and it provides us the best value for the dollar in our opinion.
Okay. We have any motions on item
Motion to approve the renewal of the Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance.
A? Okay, got a motion by Alex,
I'll second it.
a second by Rick. Is there any discussion? No? All in favor? Okay, the motion passes unanimous. Moving to item
Take care of
B.
that 0.5% next time, all right?
That was our award-winning. Item B, review and approve renewal of employee dental, vision, life, STD, and LTD insurance through Guardian. Mike Cram.
So that one as well saw a very slight increase. We're looking at 3% for dental and 3% increase for vision. There were no changes in short or long-term disability, accidental death and dismemberment, or accident coverage. Had no changes in rates.
Okay. We have a motion on item B.
I make a motion that we review and approve renewal of employee dental, vision, life, short-term disability, long-term insurance through Guardian.
Okay, got a motion by Ed.
I'll second.
A second by Alex. Any discussion on that item? All in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. Moving on to item C. Consider canceling the last meeting in December, scheduled for December 17th, 2024, due to Christmas holidays. Now, I did put this on here because this is what we've done in the past. I had to say that out loud. Little internal joke y'all don't know about yet, but so we have canceled that meeting because it's close to Christmas. Is there any business that we need to do at that meeting, Mike, after talking today?
Nothing urgent. They can't wait until January.
Okay. So that's why we're canceling that meeting. It's close to Christmas. People are going to be out of town. Not sure. And we could still have a special meeting if anything popped up. So that, I mean, that's always an option no matter what. But our regular scheduled meeting is what we normally cancel that close to Christmas.
I'll make a motion that we approve canceling the last meeting in December for a December 17th, 2024 for Christmas.
Okay, have a motion by Rick.
I'll second that.
Have a second by Ed. Any discussion? Alex, you want to come?
Yeah, I think we should have the
I
meeting.
know you don't like
Can we
canceling
move it
meetings.
to like Christmas Eve? just in case.
I know you don't prefer to cancel meetings. That's why I'm looking at you.
I'm good with this one. It's
All right.
Christmas.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. We will adjourn the meeting at